everyone, I'm Alex here, and I'm talking about how 3D printing is changing the world. Look at these graphs. It shows so much data. All right, I really want to get out of here. Mr. Smith, take it away.
Okay, everybody stand up, please. We're going to get ready for our song. All right, here it is. Ready? And...
Don't. Mr. Dixon has informed me that I still have 15 minutes left to talk. Guess I still have some time. That's how I remember a lot of chapels from the past as a little kid. This is a message to the 8th graders in my class. When you're doing your chapel, make it interesting. Make it people want to remember it. You don't have to walk off stage. You don't have to walk around stage like all the teachers are doing. Just make it interesting. Make people want to remember it. Hello, everyone. Some of you know me, some of you don't. My name is Alex, and I'm going to be talking about how 3D printing is changing the world. Before I further talk, I need a show of hands for me. Does anyone know what 3D printing is or what a 3D printer does? Kia. That is another way of thinking about it. Before I explain it, I'm going to let Howard and Raj explain to you.
Get that waste of money out of my face.
It's only a waste of money if we don't play with them. He's right, dog.
Please, I'm working.
You know, there is a way we can get action figures to look exactly like us.
Oh, yeah, how's that?
2 words, 3D printer. But maybe it's 3 words. No, hang on. Okay, 1 word, a letter, and a number, and maybe a hyphen. 3D printer.
I have always wanted a 3D printer.
Of course you have. They're an engineer's dream. Anything you can design, a 3D printer can make out of plastic.
Yeah, but they're so expensive.
Oh, come on. You deserve one.
The things they said were true. 3D printers can print anything you want out of plastic and other materials like bronze dust, carbon fiber, and even wood. Wood, the stuff you build houses out of, the stuff this podium is made out of. In that episode, Howard uses an Xbox 360 Kinect to 3D scan people so you can print them out, like physical people. And I've been able to do this last year at the STEAM workshop, whatever you call it. As most of you know, our school has 2 3D printers in our library, and we print out figures, contraptions, and other things you should check out. So why not buy a 3D printer and print cool stuff out and show it to your friends? Well, 3D printers are expensive. In that episode, they mentioned that 3D printer, the 1200 XT 3D Modeler Pro, it's a mouthful, costs $5,000. But that episode was only in 2013, only 3 years from now. And technology is relatively new. A standard printer nowadays, a decent one, can cost anywhere from $1,000 up. Okay, and did you know the first 3D printer to be designed and built was in 1983? Okay, so why am I talking about 3D printing? Are we talking about animals, compassion, or mind, body, character for the millionth time? I am talking about this because this is by far my favorite piece of technology. I love technology as much as Kai loves, I'm just kidding, as much as Donald Trump loves saying China. Or sorry, it's China. Before I tell you how it works, let's go back to the 80s. The thought of printing things in 3D has been around for a while. I think the thought process was like this.
Hey, dude, that's a cool 3D printer that prints stuff on paper. I wonder if we can make it print stuff in the air so we can get objects. Sorry, yes, dude, we should totally do that.
That 3D printer behind me was created by Chuck Hull and was a revolution. Lead the revolution. So you all might be wondering, how does this crazy machine work? How does it print out things? So 3D printing works like this. There's a metal extruder that goes around a bed. It extrudes out plastic around 400 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not that hot. And then it goes around a bed and makes a shape. Then it moves up and does another shape. It's slightly different, and then moves up and does another one, and 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 another one, layer by layer, and then eventually you get your 3D item. Another way of thinking about this is when you print out a normal piece of paper, you cut out that paper into a shape. Then you print out another paper, cut it a slightly different shape. You do this for hundreds of sheets of paper and another one. I'm just not do that again. And eventually you get a 3D object and you become a tree murderer. Yeah, I drew that. So now that you know what 3D printing is, how it works, why is it important, why am I talking about it now? You already know why I'm talking about it now, but what things can a 3D printer do that can help out our community? Yeah. So there are so many things 3D printers and engineers and designers are building with 3D printers on a huge scale. It's changing our industries forever. The concept is this. You create a 3D model design, then you print it out on a printer, get a physical object, and you can change that. With this concept, designers have been able to create 3D printed musical instruments, clothing, fully functional guns, life-size cars and life-size jet engines, and so much more. Life-size jet engines. Let that go in your head for a moment. Also, Halloween is next week, and you make all sorts of costume parts like helmets, even shoes. Not the same material, but you can be just as durable as shoes. Yeah. Even digital cobblers can now get into 3D printing. There are also tons of architects who use this to create and design buildings which would be replicated in real life. Another huge part of 3D printing is the medical field. There are doctors who are using this technology to create lots of body parts such as ears, heart valves, even noses and faces. What kind of world do we live in? Skynet? Wait, that's robots, never mind. And there are also doctors who are using this to create fully functional organs with stem cells, literally. And designers, like you and me, are using 3D printing to create prosthetics for people without limbs. Since 3D printing prints out with plastic, the material is not that expensive. It can be anywhere from $30 to $60 per kilogram, and that kilogram can print out a lot of stuff. It would cost tens or hundreds upon thousands of dollars to build these prosthetics out of metal, but a lot of families can't afford that, and that's sad. But 3D printing, you can build an arm and a leg for under $50 of plastic and screws. That's pennies in comparison. There's an organization called Enable, which makes all kinds of 3D printed arms. And let's watch this video to see what they do. These arms you see behind me are changing the lives of these kids forever.
I see that you don't have an arm. Were you in an accident? Did a shark bite it off?
But with 3D printing, so this will happen. Put this on. Nothing to see here.
It's so cool. You're automatically one of the cool kids now.
See ya. Thank you. This is a bad example, but something like this 3D printed arm, which I designed, can change a person's life forever. This could also change an adult's life as well. Another thing I found was the videos showing how to build these arms were all done by people your age, literally. I barely saw any adults. Now, to prove to you that this arm actually works, I will drink the water from that cup. I can drink all the water, but you get the point. Now, does anyone want to try this hand on? Yeah, a lot of people. What do I pick? Let me think. How about Harry? You go up stage. So, what's your name?
My name's Harry.
All right, Harry, let's try this. I mean, yeah, it's better like this. So, put this, and then Velcro is hard to put on, and then slip through the hole. Right? So, do you think this arm works, Harry?
Wait, how do you move the separate fingers?
You don't. Is it comfortable? Comfortable? All right. Harry thinks it's good. Yeah. Thank you for putting your hand on. Don't worry, you will all get to put on this hand. Don't worry, I just didn't know who to pick. Now, I don't want to turn Bell Hall into Grand Central Station, so today this arm will be in the library next to all the other 3D printed stuff. So go check it out at study hall or recess this week. You all might think, this arm is just transparent yellow. This arm's not stylish. Oh my God,
I can't go to Starbucks with this ugly hand shaking my pumpkin spice latte. My girls will think I'm cool.
well, you can customize the hand to however you like, such as these ones. Yes, and your girls will think you're cool. So, if these arms can help out kids and adults, what else can they do? I recently saw this article on CNN that talked about a boy that got in the middle of a bomb blast and had to get both of his arms amputated. This must have devastated him a lot, but a company made a mold of his arms and designed an arm that fit him perfectly. Yeah. These arms could also help out veterans from war regain confidence. That's the end of my chapel, and I hope I have armed you all with the knowledge. This is why you go to school, to see chapels that tell you about information and have bad puns at the end. Now, side note, I'm not asking you out to go buy a 3D printer and build jet engines and cars. I'm not asking you to beg Mr. Hamilton to print you out an organ or a gun. I don't think he would allow that anyway. But I want you to learn about this technology because it is changing our everyday lives forever. And sooner or later, you probably will have a 3D printer in your own home, like way in the future. And I want you to get ahead of this technology. I also want you to try at least one of the 3D printing challenges this year. That's what, if I shared a document with you and it was weird, don't worry about that. Yeah. I want you to try at least one of Mr. Hamilton's challenges this year, as I said. And in return, you will get your own 3D printed object. You're probably not going to get like a fully like this, but you could get a 3D printed object and just, yeah. It's different for each challenge, and yeah, each challenge is different and different rules, yeah. I'm asking you to do this eventually because you probably will, I don't know, have a project or an assessment that may get a grade in class. You listening, teachers? Are not falling asleep yet? So, your homework is to do at least one of the 3D printing challenges, and I recommend you do this in your free time because it is the best way you can get a 3D printing, because you can design objects to print. And if you have no objects to print that you design, there's no point of 3D printing. And I shared a Google Doc with you, as I said, and yeah. Is that good enough for you, Mr. Dixon? All right, thank you and have a wonderful day.